Across America, too many of our heroes return home only to face another battle, the fight for stable housing. Veterans are overrepresented in the homeless population, often caught in a system that is complex, slow, and full of barriers. At VetMentors, we're changing that narrative. For over 20 years, we've been boots on the ground, not just identifying the problem, but building real solutions. That's why we created the U.S. Military Veterans Educational and Resource Guide book series, a groundbreaking collection designed to educate, equip, and empower. These guidebooks are written not only for veterans, but also for the communities, organizations, and leaders who serve them. From step-by-step housing models to funding strategies, this series gives social workers, case managers, realtors, and first responders the tools they need to act with speed, dignity, and impact. VetMentors believes housing is not charity. It's a mission, a responsibility, and a pathway to restoring honor. Every guidebook in this series is a resource designed to make sure no veteran is left behind, and no community has to say, "We didn't know how to help." This is how we turn challenges into victories. I'm Yvette Jones Swanson, Army veteran, CEO of VetMentors LLC, and I invite you to join us in rewriting the story for America's veterans. Thank you and welcome once again to my show, VetMentors LLC. I don't even know what to call it. It's just, for me, it's a resource tool, a resource avenue to come on and talk to you guys about what's happening, what's really happening in this homeless veterans community. I've had the pleasure and the privilege and sometimes the knockouts, but a lot of wins as well, working in this homeless veterans community for the past 22 plus consecutive, and I'm going to say glorious now, because as I look over my days, they have been glorious. I couldn't change a thing about how I got here. My name is Yvette Jones Swanson. I am the National Veterans Homeless Housing Advocate Realtor and Business Consultant Professional Services, GovCon, as well. And I work with homeless veterans nationwide. I just got a new homeless veteran in just yesterday from Seattle, Washington. You say, Vet, don't Seattle, aren't there realtors in Seattle? Yes, but she's still homeless, and she's homeless with the HUD-VASH voucher. That's like money in the bank, money coming every month to an investor or a landlord every month. My realtors colleagues would ask me, Yvette, how do you get paid housing homeless veterans when they don't have any money? Who said they don't have any resources? That's money, right? Somebody has to pay the rent for them when they go and move to somebody's beautiful house. Somebody is paying for this home. Somebody is paying the taxes on this house. Somebody is paying the insurance on this house, the water bill, the light bill, the upkeep. Somebody is paying a mortgage if it's not paid off as part of their rental portfolio. Somebody is paying for this. So now when a veteran family, come on guys, come on, you can go home now. When a veteran family moves into this house, okay, it's a lot of them because it's a big house, right? They move into this house. The landlord has agreed to some paperwork, put it that way, has agreed to accepting this contract, put it that way. And now this investor is going to receive a check every single month. Yeah, this veteran could have a HUD-VASH voucher. That's a Section 8 voucher specifically for a veteran and his or her family. This veteran could have any of this
any of this funding that is in our community is $818 million that was awarded to 235 recipients. $818 million. This came out August 27, 2025. $818 million in grants to 235 organizations across the country to help veterans who are homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. What? $818 million? In addition to the HUD-VASH recipients, you have veterans who can get housed under this money. Yep. And then I was going through my email and this popped up. The U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs announced this past Tuesday, it will distribute $84 million in grants to 176 organizations tackling veteran homelessness across the United States. That's an additional 176 organizations receiving an additional 84 million. So this is 818 million. This is 84 million in addition to HUD-VASH. That's a lot of money for the support of our homeless veterans. It is. And then there's more money. I didn't even talk about all the rest of the money. Just know that there's no shortage of resources and benefits in our homeless veterans community. Well, you might ask me, because I can't hear you, I'm just going to say it anyway. You might ask, well, Yvette, why aren't these veterans using those resources? Who knows about these organizations? They don't have billboards. They don't have messages, commercials on TV. If you go to the VA and you sit down with the social worker and the social worker doesn't have that on his or her checklist, then the social worker is going to send that veteran right back out the door homeless, because they don't have the wherewithal, the knowledge, or the time or the care to know about all of these additional resources in the community. They just don't. I was a homeless veteran going to the VA, sitting down with social workers, case managers, doctors, nurses, police officers, because I was a battered wife. As an Army veteran, married to a Marine, actively serving Marine. And I would go to the VA and sit down with these social workers and case managers. So I wrote a book to help them. Because when I was, as a realtor, housing homeless veterans, working side by side with social workers, case managers, first responders, letting them know what is necessary and how you find additional housing services for these homeless veterans. This book helps everyday people do it as well. So 13 consecutive years, I had conducted workshops at the VA, CRRC, at the Forest Park Vet Center, 13 consecutive years there. Well, 1 year, not COVID. Over 200 workshops in the homeless veterans community at one location. City colleges, I would take my team to city colleges. I would go to the county jail and the federal prison. I couldn't take the team with me there, so I just went alone and did the presentation, the workshop, so that those veterans who were being released from incarceration, they knew what route they can take. And you can too. This is where you learn how to do that. As a realtor, I house homeless veterans because I know where the money is. I know where to go get paid. I know how to get veterans housed using the resources that they have as a realtor. And as you saw in the commercial with my coming into this live, you saw that I have a book series. And everything that you might think about, or you asking me that, how do you do this? How do you do that? It's in a book. Trust me, it's in a book or two. I mean, it's new education to everyone. I just started coming out. I just came out. I just came out publicly to speak like this maybe about a month ago, simply because I was told to. I was told to go bold. I was told to come out and share my knowledge with the nation, because I'm here in Chicago. Everybody in Chicago knows Yvette housed homeless veterans. The senator gave me a proclamation from Main Street Organization of Realtors, from Illinois Department of Veteran Affairs, and from another, I got to remember that award. And this is just a few from this year. I house homeless veterans, and I teach you how to do the same. And nobody's asking you to do this for free. As a realtor, as a, let's say you want to do shared housing for veterans, then you can open that shared housing. Just get a book and learn how to do it, and you can get invited to my private group. We can do what I do. You can learn to do what I do. I had to learn the hard way. 22 plus years, and I had to get it out. I had to get it out, because when I look at realtors, and realtors ask me, how do you house homeless veterans, Yvette, and get paid when they have no money? Truly, they do. And because they don't know how. I'll come back to that. I want to show you guys this right here, because I was at an event with my colleagues, and I was just steaming. I was fueling, because I said, we have so much money in this homeless veterans community that these homeless veterans don't even have the knowledge to know to go and get, nor do the social workers, case managers say, okay, let me look up all the resources that I can refer you to for emergency housing. Like right here, there's an emergency housing. Where's my list for emergency? Oh, here, right here in Illinois, emergency and transitional housing providers. It's 87 of them on this list. Why not make a call? Why not call one of these agencies that received $818 million or that received $84 million to pair these two up? So you're going to pair up this money with this transitional housing list, or you might want to open a transitional housing so that you can be on a list, so that now when a homeless veteran comes into, wait a minute, I'm showing you guys, come into and sit down next to a social worker, case manager, human care professional, first responder, then they can go ahead and activate. They can activate this list with clarity now, because I teach them how to do it. And then they can contact anybody on this list to refer them to your shared housing. You see how all this goes together. Now, the social worker isn't sending this homeless veteran out the door homeless anymore, because now they know where to go get the money. They know where to go get the resources, so this homeless veteran can have some place to transition to. Now, when that homeless veteran is transitioning in that shared, in that transitional unit, they get into programs, and that's what this shared model living is all about, and that's what the government is all about. You have programs that this money will pay for. This money pays for housing and housing counseling. So you got housing. You got transitional housing. You even have permanent housing. I teach the realtors how to find the resources to help these homeless veterans as well. So now you have this money. And now these homeless veterans get to now use this money as rent to go move into an investor's property. So now this investor is receiving cash flow from, we talked about HUD-VASH. We talked about all of this funding, $818 million, 84 million. So all of this money, can be used for these homeless veterans to go live someplace. So as a realtor, we get first touch on investors in the community, on landlords in the community. And now we have been educated how to house homeless veterans. And as a realtor, get a commission because the homeless veteran is going to live in somebody's property. And whoever owns this property is responsible for the mortgage, all the bills on the house, the taxes, the water bill, all the bills on this vacant house. So now you have a veteran and his family moving into this house, and this landlord is getting rent, and this realtor who procured that rental is sending an invoice after doing a whole lot of other background work that realtors do in the background, like an application process. And I teach you how not to disqualify veterans with funding. I teach you how not to do that. I've housed over 5,000 homeless veterans. I've trained teams, and I look. This is what we do. This is the blueprint on how realtors house homeless veterans. I trained teams, and I went out, get them, get the van and go get them. Literally, I'm not even joking. We had a van. One of my agents had a van, and he would fill it up and take the veterans to all the places that we had that they can choose from. And nobody was denied. Nobody was denied. All the veterans were housed under my watch, including me. I was my first homeless veteran that I housed out of homelessness, out of an abusive marriage, out of not having any resources or benefits. And I had to navigate. And when I became a realtor, I didn't know about the homeless veterans community. I had no idea. I'm just working. And when I got my real estate license and came into the community, I first started housing emancipated youth from the DCFS system who weren't adopted by their foster parents. So that was my first clientele. They've got money in that community too. They were paying their rent and paying them to go to college. Then I started meeting senior disabled. I mean, put the icing on the cake, senior disabled citizens. And I'm like, and you're homeless too, in a wheelchair, on a walker, and just, you can't even move, housing them. Then I met a homeless disabled veteran in a wheelchair through that agency. And I'm like, there are homeless veterans. As a realtor now, after housing this vulnerable population, I see where I can go with this because I took myself through a journey of homelessness to a transitional, to a rental, to home ownership, investor, and business owner. So that's the same program that's set up for the homeless veterans who are under my watch. And I teach you how to do the same thing if you want to take it that far. My publication meets you where you are. I've got, I believe, 10 books in this series, and this teaches you everything you're probably asking about, and also using critical thinking skills. Because how do you house a homeless veteran who is in a wheelchair living in a U-Haul facility? I had to do that. And he is in this publication right here. Is he in this one? Yes, he's in this study. This veteran right here in a wheelchair living in a U-Haul facility in Wrigleyville. Yeah, sleeping in a U-Haul facility in Wrigleyville. Okay, that's in this book. This teaches you how to house homeless veterans in any situation, because I teach you how to find those resources. I teach you step by step. This is a program guide to teach you how to do what I do. There's no secret anymore. I'm not gatekeeping And I never thought I was gatekeeping. I just didn't have time to sit down and write a series like this when I was so busy taking care of myself, my two children as a single mom, and housing hundreds and thousands of homeless veterans. Who had time to decompartmentalize my thoughts into workable publications so that you can pick it up and learn yourself? I didn't have the time for that, but now I do. And that's why I did it. So let me show you why I say realtors, why I say a realtor said what they said. I'm not sure if you ever saw this. And then I'll come back and read some of these questions. It's comments and concerns.
A lot of realtors are walking this way, and I'm just going to ask if they know how to house homeless veterans. Do you know how to house homeless veterans?
No.
No.
Okay.
I sadly do not.
I do not, but I would love to learn.
I do not.
I do not, but I would like to know how.
The answer to that is no.
No. Do you know how to house homeless veterans?
do not.
I do not.
Do you know how to house a homeless veteran?
He's a veteran and he would be
Come
homeless
here.
if I did not house.
Oh, look at that.
We're here at the Capitol, Illinois State Capitol. This is the lobby day for realtors. And I did make an announcement on the bus about my 3-hour course that I wrote to teach realtors how to work effectively with a homeless veteran. Just because the veteran is homeless doesn't mean they don't have resources to use to get housed or to get anything else they need, because they do. But how do you get to those resources to help that homeless veteran get housed? I've got the class, and it'll be out soon.
Well, the book is out. The class was already approved by the IDFPR, the book 2. And where's the book? Okay, this is the book that we're talking about in the class to teach realtors. Homeless veterans housing is real estate. It's real estate. You house a homeless veteran, you have procured a transaction, you get paid commission as a realtor because you are housing that homeless veteran in somebody's real estate. And whoever is receiving the check from any of these sources to pay them rent every month will be paying your brokerage. The commission and your brokerage pays you. How do you get to that point? Yeah, I'm not going into that training right now. Just get the book. And when I announce the training, take the course. Because it is a lot. 22 years of knowledge. And this isn't even all the books. This isn't even all the books. This is an encyclopedia for the U.S. My book series is the U.S. Military Veterans Educational and Resources Guidebook Series. And it's for the nation. I've helped to house a veteran in Hawaii, in Las Vegas. The newest veteran just came yesterday from, I forgot. I've got it written down, but it's Seattle, Washington. So I put another pin in it. So now VetMentors, Yvette Jones Swanson is up to 37 states. 37 states of helping homeless veterans access resources in their immediate community. Las Vegas was a single dad with a 2-year-old daughter, veteran. I love this one. I just can't get enough of this one. If you ever want to be homeless anywhere, why not Hawaii? Or say not. This was a homeless female Marine Corps veteran. And I sent her the resources, and it's just ridiculous how homeless veterans are treated in our community because nobody has the knowledge. It's a lack of knowledge. So everybody is, I can't help you. Why aren't you helping yourself? Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You're a veteran. You know what to do. Go to the VA and get some benefits, get some resources, and get your butt turned right back out. That's what people don't understand. People don't understand that, but you can learn to understand that in my educational book series. And in the classes that I will be pre-recording so you can go back and watch so you can learn how to do what I do, because all of these questions, they're answered. So the young lady in Hawaii, she found me on social media, on TikTok, because I just happened to say one day, are there any homeless veterans that need resources for housing? And they started coming back to back to back to back. It was incredible. So now I'm up to 37 states. So Hawaii, on the resources that I sent her, was a resource on one of these resources. And this is in this book, so you can learn. And she said, Yvette, there's a housing that I had applied for last year, and I never heard back from them. I'm like, you have the information, right? Okay, call them up. I'm going to go ahead and send a referral letter. She called them up and they said, well, we've been looking for you for the past year. You've been approved for one of the apartments. Now, there's a lot of different funding in our community for homeless veterans. We talked about HUD-VASH. You might want to take some notes too, because this is why I wrote the guidebooks. This is why, because I can sit here and talk all day till I'm blue in the face, which I can do. I won't turn blue, but I can talk about housing homeless veterans all day because I live and breathe this for the past 22 plus consecutive years. I was my first homeless female veteran who I housed through transition, rental, home ownership, became an investor and a business owner. And now I am here teaching, coaching, mentoring, author, publisher in the homeless veterans community to teach you how to do the same thing. We have a lot of resources, And when you educate yourself, you can do better in your community. That's what communities can do, is get educated on the resources that veterans have and educate veterans on the resources that they have, that they can go and acquire. I conducted veterans housing and home buying workshops for 13 consecutive years. 13 years. I conducted over 200 of them, scheduled, brought teams. When I first started, it was just me. And I'm like, wait a minute, I can't talk about loans. I can't talk because I'm a realtor. I stay in my lane. The loan officer talks about the loan. The contractor talks about the contracting. The attorney talks about legal. So I brought the whole team. That's in another book. This is the book. This is the 3rd edition, Veterans Buying a Resource Guide for Today's Market. And this is the workshop book that I was doing, that I created and took all around Chicago. The Jesse Brown VA, the Jesse Brown VA CRRC, all the vet centers, the federal prison, Cook County corrections, city colleges, various municipalities, to teach the community how to work effectively with homeless veterans. And this is that book. And to help veterans learn how to use their VA loan, learn how to use the benefits that are received by the federal government. Hold on, I pulled out some tools today. This is a resource guidebook by the state, whatever state you're in, you should have a state benefits book as well. And then here's some veterans community resource guidebook from our local Jesse Brown VA. So wherever you are, you have resources in these books. Everything comes in a learning tool. Now, can you find everything that I teach you in all of these books? No, you cannot. So that's why I have the learning tools for you to learn. The link is in my bio. If you have not clicked to join my page, please do that at this time. Let me go and read some of the questions that are here. And I want to thank you all for being here. I truly appreciate you coming to learn and to hang out with my day, talking about the educational tools to help you help the community, because you say you want to help. So you have to learn. And one quick shot question. Let me see which book I'm gonna show these one quick shot questions to. All right, incredible initiative. This is real impact in action. Thank you, Rob Gorski. Yes, it is. I think so too. Don't forget to hit and share. The message needs to reach more people. Thank you so much, Maria. Yes, it does. I agree with you. And then we have Rob again. How do you see AI reshaping housing solutions for veterans? That's what I do every day. That's how I am able to help veterans nationwide find the resources. But if you don't know the prompts to use, then you can't find those resources. Who knows what to ask if you have not been in this community? So I teach you in all of my books how to use AI to help enhance the housing solutions for our homeless veterans. I've been, before AI, I knew this information. With AI, it has accelerated my growth, and that's how I'm able to bring you information to help you grow in the community that you say you want to serve in. Thank you for leading the way on veterans advocacy. My esteemed pleasure. Thank you, Maria. I haven't been able to send anybody to a book yet, have I? Can you talk more about funding opportunities for vets? I did. $818 million, another $84 million, HUD-VASH, and a ton of other resources for veterans. You got to get the book and dive into it. Hey, I get to tell you which book to get, Finding Home. This is it. Yep, that's all the money. How did you come up with the idea to use AI for veterans housing? Because it's quick and it's a tool that can be used for serving veterans nationwide. So, you got Google, Google can do so much, but then you have these incredible advances in technology that when you learn how to do it, you can swiftly send resources to a Hawaii female homeless Marine and help her to find housing that she was already approved for a year ago, and she didn't even know how to contact them. They were trying to contact her, but because I was able to send her the resources that were local to her area in the west side of Kauai, Kauai, she was able to get housing. So that's how I came up with that idea. I have to be everywhere. How can I get everywhere quickly? How can I help you be everywhere too? And you may not want to be everywhere. You just might want to be in your own backyard. Thanks for asking that. But yeah, get that book. Let me see here. What's one thing policymakers should do differently after reading your guides? Use critical thinking. Use critical thinking, really, because these guides tell you what to do. And now they can contact me for a paid consultation, contact me as a contractor to come and train their staff. That's what they need to do. Learn. If they can't learn just by reading, then they can hire me to come teach them. How do you measure the success of the housing solutions? They're housed, they have their benefits. That's the success. They are housed. What role can technology play in preventing homelessness in the first place? Okay, you're not going to prevent homelessness because you will have veterans who are being discharged homeless, unfortunately, unless they're caught right before they become homeless. Oh no, my throat is dry. You have veterans who are being released from incarceration homeless. So if you have social workers, case managers, human care professionals, first responders in your jail system who will sit down and go through what resources there are in the community and send them. This is $84 million and across 176 organizations nationwide. This is $818 million across 234 organizations nationwide. These are emergency and transitional housing providers. There's 87 of them here, right here in the Chicagoland, or Illinois Department of Human Services. So if you have social workers, well, you do, and they can sit down and have learned, this is a program guidebook, and they learn how to access these resources before this veteran becomes homeless after being discharged, is homeless after being released from incarceration. That's how you use technology to prevent homelessness, because now they'll have somewhere to go when they leave that facility. That's what can happen. Through my training, did I read that one? What role can tech? Okay, I read that one. Thanks, David. And then Bradley, what are the 3 top actions someone can take after watching this video? Number 1, go to my bio and start buying the guidebooks to learn what to do in your community, what to do as a profession. Number 2, read the guidebooks. Number 3, activate your new education in your community in serving these homeless veterans. Can you break down a real case study success from your guide? Well, of course I can. One moment, please. So I have case studies in this book right here, real nice, easy, and simple. Here's a case study. This one is a twofold. This female veteran, 75 years of age when I met her, she went to the VA, to the Jesse Brown VA homeless walk-in. Homeless. She sat down with a, where's that book? Oh, this is the book. This is the book. She sat down with the social worker, and the social worker said, oh, I can't help you because you don't qualify. You don't qualify for HUD-VASH. And nobody ever looked at any of these qualifications for her because they didn't send her to an agency that received all of that money. Last year, the agencies received, it was $3.2 billion in the homeless veterans community. They didn't refer her to any of those organizations. They let her walk out the VA homeless walk-in, not once, but twice. That's why her picture is in this book 2 times. I'll read it to you. That this is a case study supporting a homeless senior veteran. Her name, 75 years old, living situation, retired Army veteran, served 3 tours, deployment in Desert Storm, recipient of 2 Bronze Stars. Her status, she's 100% service connected, disability compensation, do the math. Income, she also has Social Security benefits. And she was retired. So you got to say that's a retired too. Use your common sense. That's a retirement check. 100% service connection, disability, that's a check. And Social Security, that's another check. So she wasn't broke. By no means. She was homeless, but not broke. And she didn't qualify for HUD-VASH because she had over the amount of income. Her current situation, unhoused, seeking assistance from a homeless walk-in center. Yeah, she went to the homeless walk-in at Jesse Brown VA. What action steps? What would you do first and why? I want to know what you would do before you read the action steps that were taken to get her housed, not once, but 2 times when she saw me. So I ask you these questions, And then what would you do next and why? So what would you do first? What could you do? What would you do? And then what would you do next? What is the outcome sought? What are the needs of the veteran besides housing? What are the needs? What are the steps you would use to address this veteran needs and why? Period. Before you start your next assignment, think about those steps. You can write down what you would do in the book. And then after you thought about, oh, what would I do? Okay, what did Yvette do? What would you do first and why? And I'm telling you what I did. An assessment and immediate needs identification. It's like an intake. And then what would you do next and why? And this is what I did. Resource identification and connection, because she needed some resources. What was the desired outcome? And was it met? Identifying the needs. What are the needs of this veteran after your intake assessment? And then how can you service her? What are the steps you would use to address the veteran's needs and why? And then these are the steps, and this is how they were addressed. And the conclusion and any follow-ups. So this, and I tell you step by step how I was able to house her not once, but 2 times as a homeless senior female veteran, where the Jesse Brown VA sent her marching. And that case study is in this book. Along with this case study, this is Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, at the time we met, was a homeless veteran in a wheelchair living in a U-Haul facility in Wrigleyville. He contacted me first because my name was top on the list. And I did an assessment and intake to find out what he needed, just like I showed you. And that's in the case study. What's the assessment? What's the assessment of needs? And what's his barrier in housing? His barrier, he's in a wheelchair and he has a voucher. Believe it or not, that's a barrier. Collaboration with housing professionals. How would you do that? Transition and support, long-term solution, and some activities. So, and I tell you just how he got housed. I housed him in a condominium downtown Chicago, 2 bedrooms, all the utilities, not all the utilities, but all the furniture was left because he was homeless coming from a U-Haul facility. And he used a HUD VASH voucher, and the $3,000 rent and security deposit were covered. How do you say that? What? Yes, he had a voucher that paid the rent of $3,000 in this luxury condo building downtown Chicago. And we also utilized one of these organizations back in the day to pay his security deposit. And then I invoiced the investor to send the real estate company where I've been with for 14 years a check to pay me a commission. So as a realtor, I procured a transaction. As a case manager, social worker, I teach you how to do the same thing without procuring a transaction, because you're not a realtor. You're a social worker, case manager, human care professional, or first responder working for a company like the VA or any of these other agencies. So that's what I teach you how to do. And what is the question? Can you break down? Yeah, so 2 case studies are in the book. Please get the book, support and learn. That would be fantastic. All right, so I've got 3 minutes. If there are any more questions, comments, or concerns or not, I don't know. But I have another meeting to go into at 11 with Main Street Organization of Realtors. Oh, I probably didn't tell you guys, but I am in the upcoming with Gloria Estefan in the new Women's World magazine that's coming out for September 29th. So I just jumped the gun and I went ahead and you see I printed out Queen Gloria Estevan and the article that was written about me. And let me just read this one piece to you. But this is in the art. This in the paper that's coming out September 29th. Oh, and this was a homeless veteran, him and his family. His story was horrific. And he's also in this book. His whole story is in this book as well. So they said, you are worthy of all that is good. That's right here. Less stress, the satisfaction of success, and abundance of happiness. You are meant to experience all that and more. And all you really need to do is receive life's bountiful blessings, is welcome them with an open arm. They're right at your doorstep. I said, how fitting is this? Because life as a homeless female veteran and as a homeless veterans advocate, life is stressful. It is. My heart aches for homeless veterans. And yours, I'm not going to say should or should not, but if, everybody keeps saying, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Well, now you can thank a veteran for their service and also help them to be a service. And go ahead and learn this community to help more. I want to thank you all for watching. I'm going to play some media assets and then get off of here and go to my next meeting. Let me see. Oh, so I learned AI. I love AI. So I started having my letters read by AI people. So here's one letter. Here's a short letter. I'm going to play all three.
I wrote this letter for Yvette February 17th, 2015. I highly recommend Yvette Jones as a realtor and leasing agent. She has consistently delivered exceptional results and is a skilled professional who builds strong relationships with tenants. Yvette is organized, persistent, and always willing to share her knowledge, making her a valuable asset to any team. Companies would be lucky to work with her. Sam Besser, Regional Manager at Base. Sam Besser, Regional Manager at Base.
So that was one of my investors. They gave me about 400 units.
I wrote this letter for Yvette Jones, February 19th, 2015, to whom it may concern. It is my great pleasure to write this letter of recommendation for Ms. Yvette Jones. Although I am no longer working in the housing field, in the past, I have had the pleasure of working with Ms. Jones in our effort to find housing for those people with disabilities who were homeless or in housing that was not affordable nor accessible to them. I can state with confidence that she is a motivated and responsible person with a high degree of integrity. As such, I expect that she will be a very positive addition to any institution. 5 years ago, as the housing counselor at Access Living, is when I first met Ms. Jones. I feel that I know Ms. Jones quite well. She began working with me 5 years ago in an effort to find housing for the underserved disability community. She has showed us that she had a considerable amount of responsibilities, but still had time to come to our group meetings and speak to our consumers about resources for people with disabilities. Ms. Jones takes the initiative to identify problems and devise solutions. Her role required strong communication skills, and she has shown that she not only has these skills, but that she also has the ability to inspire respect and cooperation in consumers. She has shown that she is a very intelligent person with a mind well suited to the world of business and management. I sincerely hope that you give Ms. Jones favorable consideration. If you need any further information about Ms. Jones, please do not hesitate to contact me. Sincerely, Gloria Esquivel, Assistive Technology / Community Care Coordinator, Access Living of Metropolitan Chicago.
Thank you all for watching. Thanks for being here. I'm in my next meeting, so I'm going to go ahead and end the stream now. And if you haven't started to click the button to like, share, and be here, and support, that would be great if you were to do that now. And go and seek out some education. It's worth it.
Across America, too many of our heroes return home only to face another battle, the fight for stable housing. Veterans are overrepresented in the homeless population, often caught in a system that is complex, slow, and full of barriers. At VetMentors, we're changing that narrative. For over 20 years, we've been boots on the ground, not just identifying the problem, but building real solutions. That's why we created the U.S. Military Veterans Educational and Resource Guide book series, a groundbreaking collection designed to educate, equip, and empower. These guidebooks are written not only for veterans, but also for the communities, organizations, and leaders who serve them. From step-by-step housing models to funding strategies, this series gives social workers, case managers, realtors, and first responders the tools they need to act with speed, dignity, and impact. VetMentors believes housing is not charity. It's a mission, a responsibility, and a pathway to restoring honor. Every guidebook in this series is a resource designed to make sure no veteran is left behind, and no community has to say, "We didn't know how to help." This is how we turn challenges into victories. I'm Yvette Jones Swanson, Army veteran, CEO of VetMentors LLC, and I invite you to join us in rewriting the story for America's veterans.